a minor injury that has kept her out for a couple of training sessions. So, Leah Blaney, we're taking a look at this Mariners team. They don't score many goals, but they are also rock solid in defence. And one of the reasons for that is their American defender, Jasmine Wardlow. What is it about her that has stood out to you as we see the players come out of the tunnel here?
She's been excellent this season. She's a consistent performer. She's comfortable on the ball, and she just does the simple things really, really well to help this Mariners side tick over, whether it's out of possession or in possession.
So the Mariners in their home yellow kit, Melbourne City in the pastel away outfit that they have for this one. Jasmine Wardlow there, the number 12, making her way into the lineups there. The American previously played in Italy and was in Australia playing in Melbourne when the Mariners elevated her to the A-League Women's. She will be important against a possession-dominant Melbourne City team tonight.
She definitely will, and she's going to have a bit of work on her hands, given, you know, we know the form that Wilkinson's been in and Policina. So I look forward to seeing those matchups, and on the other side of it, we look forward to seeing her in build-up as well.
So handshakes starting to take place. Not the first delay we've had so far tonight. Now, in the centre-back position for Melbourne City is Taylor Otto. What is it about Otto's game which is so important to Melbourne City?
Look, she's a ball-playing centre-back. I love the tactical flexibility. Having her in this squad allows Vidicic to have her step into midfield and overload those areas, and the passing ranges in her locker. She plays clever little reverse balls that break lines, and she's a stalwart in this backline for their build-up.
And for the first time in a long time, no Julia Grosso and Caitlin Torpey in the lineup for Melbourne City. So that puts a lot more responsibility on Otto to actually play the ball.
It definitely does, and all due respect to the replacement players who are in those positions today. We know Torpey's been excellent this season. The width she's able to create and some of the deliveries that she provides this Melbourne City side has been enormous in some of their front third entry success.
So a couple of Leah Blaney's players to watch. The officiating crew tonight will be headed by Caitlin Williams in the middle, assistant referees Lauren Hargrave and Delphina Shakespeare, and Bella Mawson is the fourth official. So the Mariners come into tonight having lost 2 in a row. They've got 7 points for the season, though. It puts them in 9th place. Melbourne City, 16 points, second on the table on goal difference only. But that first defeat of the season last weekend, Leah, will certainly leave them in a position where they know that they're not going to have it all their own way this campaign. They're going to have to return to form pretty quickly to hold on to top spot.
Oh, they definitely are, and we know that they have the quality within this squad to do that. It's just going to be, are they able to show up each week and get the job done and make sure that they come away on top.
Even a draw tonight would be enough to put Melbourne City top of the table before Perth Glory host Sydney FC in the last game of the weekend, 10 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday night. Leah, why have the Mariners been so good at home? What's made them... they've even beaten the Wellington Phoenix here at Central Coast Stadium, so they have been a very tough unit to go up against at this venue.
Yeah, and I think credit to the Central Coast and the organisation there and the environment they're creating, that they're getting people at games. The girls, they're coasties, right? They're made up of a group of players that are living some of their best lives up there at the moment, training and playing, and they just look like they're enjoying their football.
Englishwoman Faye Bryson, one of the players to have scored for the Mariners this season, back in the team after missing last weekend. That goal coming against Melbourne Victory a couple of weeks ago. And there's the captain, Taryn King, who also has her name on the score sheet once this season. So, all in readiness, it's the Mariners attacking the left of your screen to kick this one off. And after kickoff was pushed back by 30 minutes due to a power outage at the ground, we are thrilled to let you know that round 8 of the Liberty A-League is underway with Melbourne City against Central Coast Mariners. And immediately it's an early touch for Leah Varley, back to the centre of defence. And one of the vital players that was away with New Zealand in Colombia and thus did not feature for Melbourne City last week, Rebecca Stott. And already a fascinating situation where the Mariners aren't pressing. They're going to stand off and dare Melbourne City to come at them. The chess game begins immediately.
Yeah, I think tonight will be a very interesting tactical battle, and it's going to require, if this is what Central Coast is going to do, it's going to require patience by the City players. They're going to have to move the ball quickly, get players in between lines receiving, and those kind of things to break down a bit of a mid-block, it looks like, is being set up.
Pace of play accelerates quite a bit here at the feet of Amina Rekic, who is dispossessed by Izzy Gomez. And now Tess Quilligan, pass back to Taryn King. King's clearance, and is cleared out for an early throw. So already an intriguing first minute. There is the Central Coast Mariners coach, M. Husband, a coach who you've been very impressed by the football the Mariners have been playing so far, especially given they are not a superstar-filled team.
No, they're certainly not that. You know, they consistently are on the same page. You can see that M. Husband has a game plan, and her players are buying in and looking to execute it the best they can in each match, and it's impressive.
And there is Dario Vidizic. I feel like we're going to learn a lot about how he coaches tonight, because a change of personnel, a change in formation, some of it dictated by who was missing coming back from the international break last weekend against Perth, and then the Torpy injury and the Grosso injuries also forcing his hand here tonight.
Yeah, and again, pleasing to see a coach in our A-League who is working with a playing group and making them tactically flexible so that they can go into any environment, because they simply understand principles of football and those kind of things.
Touch from Paige Hayward presented the ball to Rihanna Pollicina. And up against the sideline, not able to keep it in. Pollicina, who spent a season at Newcastle before going to Melbourne City, where she's spent the last 3. This is Ergamal, the Chinese international, and Leah Varley is able to clear away. So fits and starts to begin this one. First ever meeting between these teams. Central Coast Mariners were out of the old W League in 2009. Melbourne City did not enter the competition until 2015. So they continue to tick off the firsts. They were successful against Wellington. They were beaten by Wanderers in their first head-to-head. How will they go against another fellow expansion team here tonight? Varley, first thought is to go backwards and reset with Rebecca Stott. And now City enjoying possession in a far more advanced area as the Mariners work deeper and deeper.
What's going to be key for this Mariners side is that they remain disciplined. They've set this deeper block. They've got to make sure that there's not large gaps between them to be able to play through, pick their moments when they are going to press it and look to win. So a very disciplined performance it's going to require. Deflected
pass. Was looking for Letitia McKenna, and much to her confusion, looks like the offside flag is up here. So Sarah Langman back in goal. Appearance number 71 tonight for the 28-year-old. Last played in March when she was on the books of Perth Glory. It's her 4th stop in the league. Adelaide Wanderers, Perth, and now the Central Coast. That's the life sometimes of a goalkeeper that's battling for those #1 gloves. She has won Matilda's camp to her name back when she was playing at Adelaide, but has had to wait all the way through until round 8 to get her first appearance of this season.
And it's great to see her back between the sticks. We know the headache Husband has had up there with the quality in Newborn and Dumont, and now Langman is available. She's a great shot stopper. She's brave. Looking forward to her performance tonight.
Here's Pollicina, found by Badawir. You have to call that a striker's challenge. Behind the backtracking forward, free kick in midfield. Well, what did you make of the decision to swap Casey Dumont for Sarah Langman after the one game? I mean, they did lose 3-0 against the Wanderers last weekend, but it seems as though third goalkeeper of the season had become a necessity.
Yeah, look, you know, at the end of the day, Husband's going to make the changes that she sees fit to help her team perform in the next game. And Langman's going to be given this opportunity, and it'll be up to her to take it with both hands moving forward.
Melbourne City yet to test the goalkeeper through the first 5 minutes. Here's Varley, not afraid to take the game on. And then the pass wasn't able to match the endeavour. Irwin's clearance to Bianca Galich. Of course, there's a Galich in each team. Bianca for the Mariners and Daniela for Melbourne City. And she's lunging in here, unable to take possession as Wardlow clears. Varley with a long throw. Hannah Wilkinson, first real involvement for the Kiwi centre forward. And now the call appears to be a corner kick, so a little bonus here, Leah.
Yeah, and definitely one Melbourne City are going to be pleased with. Interesting to see who they opt to have as their target players. We touched on Otto before as being somebody who's a consistent player for Melbourne City. I'd like to see her be a little bit more impactful in attacking set pieces for this City squad.
Amina Rekic to take the corner. We've seen her score one Olympico goal already this season against Sydney FC. Ekic in swinger, and it was Varley at the back post who was able to challenge for the header, but it's punched away by Langman out for a corner on the opposite side.
Langman does really well there to come out and get over her zonal and her markers there and just try and get a hand. You can see Izzy Gomez, who's aerially quite proficient herself, is able to help that on as well.
So repeat corners coming in from opposite sides. Policina this time, and that one lands on the roof of the net. You can see the wind is definitely having a say in the game as well.
Yeah, it'll be a factor in terms of that for both sides. You'd be looking to try and play along the ground as much as possible. If you're against it, and then if you have it, just taking a little bit of weight off your pass because it is going to travel a little bit faster and a little bit further.
City able to retain possession. Here's Stott. And again, everything slows down just a little. Chinema. Ekic, the player to make something happen perhaps on that left flank, not on this occasion. Now a long ball probing out to the left, and the runners break. Policina is there with Ekic in support. And this is Amina Ekic on the turn, but well, perhaps not aware of two defenders that were present, and a bit of confusion between Faye Bryson and Sarah Langman, and that is one of the effects of having a new goalkeeper as the Mariners concede another corner. And absolutely no rush here from Melbourne City to take that corner. The wind has died down ever so slightly though. There we go, the one fist salute, signal given. Let's see what that means. Any guesses, Leah?
It appears that they're going to crowd the goalkeeper here and potentially cause a bit of confusion in there and then break out into some zonal areas, possibly.
Policina drops it right on the near post. There was a big fist coming from Langman, and then the ball is booted away by Ash Irwin. Ergamal with it all to do. He's got company in the form of Haywood, but the referee is saying free kick going the way of Melbourne City.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a free kick. You can see goalkeeper coach Jordan Franken very animated on the sideline there. Just in terms of this delivery, Melbourne City have so many good attacking set-piece threats. You've got Naomi Chinema in there, Wilkinson, Otto. I do think they need to be making the most of those opportunities.
And so once again, it's Melbourne City looking to force the issue, but they are patient in their build-up. Stott. Now Chinema. And the back pass, just opening the door ever so slightly for the Mariners to try and steal possession away and go for the counter. But Taylor Otto is composed on the ball.
And you can see how narrow this Central Coast side has set up. They want Melbourne City to try and play around them where they feel like they're less threatening. And if Otto can get in between lines and face forward, as we just saw, that's going to be the best solution to break this down in that central corridor.
Ekic with a burst of acceleration, but Bryson was equal to it. Back to Chinema. Now Ekic. He's really trying to take the game on here, Amina Ekic, and bring teammates into it with her, but now it's Badawea who clears away. It's a half-field game at the moment. Mariners are very much pinned back at the top of their defensive penalty area.
Yeah, and it'll be about the Mariners, when they do win the ball, breaking out quickly if they are going to sit in this deep block and get numbers forward and try and exploit some of the space in behind Melbourne City, who are going to play most of the game in this half and look to keep it and break them down.
Galich just struggled keeping the ball in, and then had her pocket picked by Hayward. And just a little hesitant Galich, but it's going to work out for the Mariners. Hayward gets another chance. Galich, Hayward, really combative stuff. And then a crunching challenge on McKenna, and that is Paige Hayward in a nutshell. Never afraid to go in for a 50-50 ball. McKenna bounces straight back up to her feet.
Yeah, and as you can see there with Danny Galich, just not aware of where the pressure is coming from, and she's able to win the ball off Galich and then go into that challenge full of bravery with McKenna.
So here's Hayward once again. Like many of these Mariners, still looking for a first goal in the new colours. It was at Adelaide where she scored just the one. Came against Wellington. And for a couple of seasons there, back to her home state of New South Wales. It's Policina able to very easily take that throw. We've barely called Liz Prue's name, the Canadian goalkeeper, through the first 12 minutes of this one. Leah, not unsurprisingly, it's a 75-25 split possession in favour of Melbourne City at the moment.
Yeah, definitely no surprises there. And for City, it's about advancing the ball up higher up the pitch and getting players in goal-scoring positions to break this block down with that possession.
Well, that's what the Mariners have done. They are a disciplined team, but the thing I notice the most about them is their patience. Their games tend to take on a very different character when they're 0-0 compared to when one or the other team has scored. And that's generally when the fun starts, and the coaching changes are largely dictated by game state. There are some teams that will stick to their plan no matter what. The Mariners seem very adjustable depending on who scores first.
They do, and I think that's obviously down to the setup, but also the consistency in the squad.
Great run here from Hughes, cut back by Wilkinson. Hughes was the player it was intended for, and then lunges in second to the ball and fouls Gomez. And that is as threatening as Melbourne City have looked. And interestingly, it was Laura Hughes, normally more of a ball recycling midfielder, who was able to actually get the aggressive run and pass.
Yeah, and that's a clever, really well-weighted little pass by Hughesy, who continues her run, and just a slight late challenge on Gomez there.
I think it's a reminder to the Mariners that the game is not going to be played at this pace through its entirety by Melbourne City. There are quick players who are just storing up their little bursts of acceleration, and now the Mariners are on notice. And so they probe forward, perhaps meaningfully for the first time. Ergamal cutting it back. Gomez dispossessed. And here's Hughes once more. Policina back to goal. Was able to roll it out to Leah Varley. Just their second appearance for Melbourne City, the young woman from Finley in New South Wales. Was previously at Adelaide United, where she made just a handful of appearances. So the 21-year-old trusted tonight in the absence of Caitlin Torpey to play in that back line. As we see passes all the way back to Langman, and look at Wilkinson. She's got the hunger for the goal and is able to hurry up Langman and force a clearance, but it's a good one. It found Bryson. Now the Mariners look to build, but the pass is beyond Ergamal. So 15 interesting minutes have ticked by, and Melbourne City just starting to show that they can light the touch paper on a moment's notice.
Yeah, there's definitely positive signs there for Melbourne City. I do think they can increase their ball speed a little bit more in these moments. Central Coast are going to want to slow this game down. It's much easier for them just to adjust and shift and keep this block if City aren't moving themselves and the ball quickly. Long ball up the middle, and this is a great chance for me to ask you about something that happened about an hour and a half before kickoff earlier this evening, Leah. Of course, you are the head coach of the national under-20 women's team, the Young Matildas, and they will be going to the Asian Cup in March. And the group draw for Australia, Uzbekistan, Korea Republic, or South Korea, and also Chinese Taipei or Taiwan. So a group that if you get out of it, your team goes to the under-20 World Cup. You've already been to Costa Rica. How much are you dreaming now of Colombia
now that it's real and you can start your prep for March?
Oh, look, the idea of going to Colombia is something that we aspire to.
We'll just break here and look at this incident, because it's a wrist or a shoulder problem for Wardlow, and she knows immediately that she's hurt. Hopefully just a stinger. Desperately hope it's not a dislocation, but from the look on her face, this is one that has really hurt. Stingers can hurt a lot though as well, Leah, so we're just hoping it's not a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah, definitely a very painful event for Wardlow, if so.
Let's have a look at the replay. It was Varley, who is a very physical defender, and that's fairly gentle contact, all things considered.
Yeah, which would make it a little bit more concerning, given the pain that Wardlow initially looks like she was in, but she seems to have recovered quite well on the sideline and will be returning. Maybe
a bit of sensitivity due to historical injuries there could be the reason. A couple of painkillers administered, and the fourth official, Bella Mawson, will wave Wardlow back on. So would have sent a few nerves through the bench for the Central Coast Mariners, though, that their linchpin defender was hurt. Thankfully not for very long. Both teams are haggling over who's got the throw in here. Central Coast get the nod, and that shoulder must be okay because Wardlow is taking the throw in to Ergamal. He's able to get the better of Stott, and then the return pass coming from Badawir was intercepted by Otto and was all important. And now out to the flank. Great lunge there initially to keep the ball in, but ultimately running out of real estate was Wardlow. But yes, back to March in the Under-20 Asian Cup. Get out of the group, it's off to an Under-20 World Cup. Yeah, look, it's an exciting time for us. We really look forward to the Asian Cup. All teams in Asia are improving and are highly competitive. So, you know, we'll take every game that comes there, and we just look forward to the opportunity of international activity. And for those of you getting familiar with the league and the teams, in tonight's game, Naomi Chinema and also Daniela Galich from Melbourne City, part of the most recent Young Matildas team that went to China, as is Peter Trimmis, who is sitting on the bench and will no doubt be a deployed substitute at some stage for the Mariners. I hope I haven't sold anyone short there, Leah, and I haven't forgotten any other names. There's Tiana McKenna, who's been heavily involved in our qualification period, who's an extremely talented player on the bench for Melbourne City. So there's certainly lots of good Young Matildas stocks floating around all A-League teams at the moment. And that's the great thing about the Liberty A-League. You can watch the start of the journey. Taryn King not happy with the physical attention from two opponents. Yeah, and I think I wouldn't be too happy around the two-handed push in the back either. I think that's fair. We know that King's a fiery character, and you touched on it being a bit difficult for teams to come to the Central Coast and play there. I think that mentality that Taryn brings to this coast side around this is our home, and she doesn't take any crap, to be honest. I think it makes it a big part of the Mariners' success. Well, they've been comfortable defending corners so far. Let's see if Melbourne City can ask a more meaningful question. Amina Ekic remains the left-footed taker on duty. Policina is the short option. That's ignored. Driven in, and a solid header from Wardlow away. Clears the penalty area. Counter-attack's not on. Chinema initially held play up. Now Quilligan boots it out to Ergamal, who was well-positioned, dragging Stott wide. But then the crossfield ball wasn't able to match. The Mariners not able to counter on that occasion, but their corner defence remains rock solid. It does. They're set up quite well to deal with the deliveries, and then now it's just about breaking it with speed and with numbers forward when they are clearing that first ball. Stott up the middle. Attempted flick on from Ekic. Ash Irwin is there. Now Quilligan to Ergamal. Releases Bryson over on the right. And the crowd start to get excited. Here's Bryson. He's got Galich ahead of the ball, but decides to hold things up with Haywood. Now in comes a deflected cross. Oh, at the near post. It's sliced off the woodwork twice, both posts, and then cleared off the goal line. How did that not go in? Leah Varley saves the day for Melbourne City, but that was nearly an own goal for Taylor Otto. It was, and just a little bit of a possible miscommunication between Prue and Otto there puts her side in that moment, which I'm sure they're not wanting to have that happen again. Well, stay with play here, because Bryson, sensing the opportunity to try and capitalise on a rattled City defence, is lunging forward. but has done so in a manner that concedes a foul. Well, how about this? It was a deflected cross, and then all chaos broke loose.
Yeah, obviously the deflection plays a part in that, and for me, it's potentially Prue's ball. Otto has to redirect that out using her left foot the other way.
Well, if City can score at the other end, that would certainly settle the nerves. Both posts, the inside of both posts. It doesn't get much closer than that. And Varley, who's been drawn up the pitch here to take on Badawia, kept a cool head to save the day. But now, Melbourne City need cover back in defence. Well done by Gallage. Here's Varley, and just volunteers possession away. Well, as they say, if you don't shoot, you don't score. But on that occasion, it was just a cross. It was just a hopeful cross. And it ended up striking the woodwork twice.
It was, and what it does is it actually validates Central Coast at the moment in terms of how they're set up, and gives you a little bit more momentum that you are creating chances from this deeper block.
Can City resume normal service and own the ball in their attacking half, or is that going to bring the Mariners out of their shell just a little bit more? Well, that pass from Gomez has ended up intersecting the two midfielders, Bryson and Badawia. Discussion continues in earnest. Tell us about the assistant coaches of the Mariners. Who's sitting next to Em Husband there on the bench?
Yeah, look, it's great to see the head coach, or previous head coach of Northern Tigers, who's had a very, very successful stint in the New South Wales NPL. Next to Em there, he knows the playing group. His side similarly play a nice brand of football throughout the NPL season, so really good to see them two connecting on this bench.
And that's Jake Stevenson, of course. They would have been rivals in the NPL, but very much aligned now as the Mariners' brains trust. Get the feeling, though, that it is very much Em Husband's team, and you need a deputy that's full of ideas, but also isn't married to them if the head coach wants to make a tough call.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the role of being a head coach, that you have people around you who are going to challenge you at times, but also support you when needed.
So about a quarter of the way through the evening's action. We're still scoreless, not for a lack of trying from both teams. Like many Mariners games, you feel as though the first goal will be all important. Nicked away by Ergamal. Half the field to go, though. Two defenders back covering, and now runners come forward in support. Ergamal sees Paige Haywood. Haywood one-on-one against Varley, and that's an important block from Varley. The ball spills to Chinema, weaving through midfield. Counter on counter, that might suit Melbourne City just fine. Ekic, can they move it quickly, Melbourne City? Mariners starting to get numbers back behind the ball. And with that pass, they will reset their defensive unit.
And that's the key, Antega, spot on. They have to move the ball quicker when Central Coast Mariners are disorganised like they were.
Through ball here, Wilkinson with a sighter, and went across the keeper. You saw the ball was spinning away from the target, but Hannah Wilkinson, who scored a header against Perth last week, nearly getting it done with the boots there.
Yeah, great little forward run by Wilkinson. We know the threat and potential she has to create those chances in the front third. Now it's just a little bit around the decision making. Does she shoot from that angle, or does she look to actually cut inside it and use her left foot as a potential another tool in her locker there?
3 and 7 so far this season for Wilkinson. City's all-time leading scorer on 23 total. Really physical midfield work there. Quilligan, nice little sidestep. Chinema did not take clean possession of the ball. Badawia, flag stays down at the near post. Ergamal went to ground at the key moment. Saved by Prue. Important from Liz Prue to deny Ergamal. It was helter-skelter attacking, and yet the Mariners still found a way to get a shot on target.
Yeah, that's excellent by Prue. You can see Badawia, she has a head up, she picks out her pass, and Ergamal's in a good position. Prue comes out, she's nice and big, she closes down the angle. Really good goalkeeping.
So corner coming up for the Mariners here. Badawia. High looping ball. Was always to the advantage of Hughes. And now Eckage clears. Otto. Able to hold off Ergamal. Misdirected pass. Wardlow. And things calm down as the ball goes out for a throw. What do you think the coach is thinking when these sort of phases of play continue to occur, even 26 minutes in? We saw it in the first minute. What about now, a quarter of the way through?
Look, I think in terms of Central Coast Mariners, Husband's going to be happy with the defensive discipline from her side. For most part, they're preventing passes into Hughes and Otto there, who we know are playmakers for this Melbourne City side. It's going to have to force them to go around Central Coast, so there's a lot of emphasis that needs to be placed on players like Daniela Galic dropping down a little bit deeper and being able to receive it in those wide areas on that side. And then on the opposite side, they're going to be wanting to get Eckage on the ball facing forward so they can just break that first pressing line.
Now the Mariners try to emerge down the right. Chinema. Bit of kick to kick. Who's going to retain possession? Badawia. Now McKenna for City.
And these are the moments I was just referencing. You can see that central corridor is very hard to play through for City. And if Eckage can just shorten the pass that she could receive from Chinema there, we might see one of those wider players on the ball facing forward.
Stott, still very much the distributor out from the back for City. Going on a venturing run, Stott was stopped in her tracks by Galic. There's Otto, and now Chinema. Got to be careful against Badawia. It's a shallow back pass, but Prue is out of her line. Not quite the hair-raising moment that Central Coast were hoping to create. And now a ranging pass through the left. Wilkinson. Well, Irwin had to time that if she was going to go to ground, and that's exactly what she did.
Yeah, and that's good defensive cover by Irwin there.
Big night for Ash Irwin in just her 7th A-League women's game. The 23-year-old breaking through into the league for the first time this season and having to mark the veteran Kiwi with more than 100 caps of international experience in Hannah Wilkinson. Chinema starting to spend a lot more time in the attacking half. Finds Eckage in space. Now Amina Eckage drives across, and Langman takes the arms out of the way at the last second as it goes through the penalty area, and Galic retrieves on the other side. Varley. And now Hayward for the Mariners. Here's Galic. Daniela Galic slides it to Varley, and that is what Leah Varley does so well. She can just take a clever little touch and buy herself a moment. And a very neatly worked 1-2 to put Galic out into space here. All about the delivery. Galic slides past one defender, and Paige Hayward refused to be beaten. And so they reset over in the corner, and Hayward puts it out for a, well, last touch off the Mariners. It looks like it's a throw. That was some determined one-on-one defending, especially when it looked like Daniela Galic was in 3 metres of space.
Yeah, it was good one-on-one defending and some excellent little clever combination play by Varley and Galic for the initial actions.
Well, not on the same wavelength here, just as we gave them a wrap, but ultimately it works its way out. Here's Paige Hayward again.
Yeah, it's obviously very clever from Daniela Galic to sell her and cut inside there, but the defender doesn't give up. She's back on her feet, and good recovery by her.
How much of that is sort of between the ears, the speed of decision-making versus the technique of freeing the feet to get the cross away, because even after Hayward was out of the equation, she was able to leap back in and make one last tackle.
Yeah, it shows a good level of mentality by Hayward, but also athleticism to get up quickly and recover.
So half an hour ticked by, still scoreless. Mariners have hit the woodwork twice. Melbourne City have created the occasional good chance. Yet, this is a very even contest. A draw would put Melbourne City back on top of the league, and the only team that would be able to overtake them by the end of the weekend would be the Perth Glory. Stott. Now inside the attacking half, some way inside the attacking half as things slow down. Varley contemplating a long pass of her own. More of a hit and hope on this occasion. Back to the feet of Stott and Hughes. See Taylor Otto, the centre-back, is setting up more as a defensive midfielder at the moment. And is that where Hughes is going to look? No, too much midfield traffic, so back to the defensive trio once again. Varley. Got it around Hayward, but Policina couldn't make it work. Wardlow to Ergamal. Varley. Stott, a quick head check over to the bench as she roams forward here. And that's a great slight challenge from Ergamal, launching a counter-attack for Galich. Galich out to the right. It's a slow-moving pass. Not sure whether it's the heaviness of the pitch or just under-hitting the ball, but a couple of occasions playing from centre to right, the Mariners have come unstuck due to the ball just holding up in the turf. Melbourne City prevail with possession. Here's Varley. Ekic presented for the ball. Now Wilkinson back to goal as well. Melbourne City crisscrossing through the Mariners midfield, but can they now get into the penalty area? Policina. Wingers having a quick trip to opposite sides of the pitch. Out to the flank it goes. Ekic. Now Policina. And Mariners becoming increasingly comfortable conceding corner kicks.
Yeah, and that's actually quite a good little passage of play by Melbourne City, and it's going to be the way forward for them to create chances and box entries where they're shifting the ball side to side quicker through short-angled passes. Players are facing forward on the half turn, and they're just going to have to be super positive and even more aggressive with some of their positioning higher up the pitch and getting level and beyond their opponent.
So we've seen the corner where everyone crowds the near post. This time, no one in the 6-yard box at the time the corner was taken. Now everyone advances. Ekic looking for the cutback. Otto lays it one pass further. Ekic again blocked, and Badawia, who has spent so much time defending in this game, is able to blaze it clear. Ergamal holding the ball up, allowing the Mariners to break out of defence. Bryson. Ergamal unable to roll past McKenna on that occasion. Ergamal, who's starting to become a regular in the China national team. If you're wondering about the difference between the spelling of the name and the pronunciation, she's from the province of Inner Mongolia. Yes, you might see how it's written on the back of the shirt, but it is pronounced Ergamal. Stott. Slaloming run from Stott. Comes unstuck at the feet of Badawia. Stott goes and retrieves the ball. That was turning back the clock from Rebecca Stott. We have seen that back in the Melbourne City Super Team days. Think back to one of the more recent goals Stotty scored. It was against Brisbane Roar. She was just marauding forward from defensive midfield and scored a double that day, and basically is a player who's very good at taking responsibility when the situation calls for it.
She is, and as you can see, she's able to slalom through the Mariners defenders there. She's confident in possession, and she's actually a player who can help break this deeper block down by those moments.
Chance here though, open space, and Ekic, Policina, Wilkinson, they're queuing up, ball off the crossbar. Policina hits the woodwork, and Melbourne City the width of the crossbar away from opening the scoring.
And that's a great opportunity by Melbourne City. The ball by Letitia McKenna and Wilkinson to get head up and find Policina there. Really, really good attack.
And as we see the cutback here, it was under pressure from two defenders, but Mariners now living dangerously, giving possession away once more. Into the last 10 minutes of the first half, Melbourne City will feel very much hard done by if they go into the rooms without a goal to show for their attacking efforts and just general control of play. Here's Quilligan. Trying to protect the ball, but can't. Through comes Varley, out into open space. Will the ball hold up on the turf? It doesn't. It just rolled away out for a goal kick. Ekic making the decision not to sprint all the way for it, but again, threat from Melbourne City.
Yeah, and that's when Melbourne City can be dangerous, when they can release Ekic on that left side. We know she's quick. The weight of that pass, just a little bit heavy. Had that been better, well weighted into the path of Ekic, we saw Wilkinson breaking on the other side as well.
Bryson happy to slow things down here. Ergamal. Now Wardlow. Well, off the ball contact between Hayward and Varley. Paige Hayward's very much a bash and crash sort of player though, so generally tends to be the one to initiate contact if there is any. Here's Ergamal again. Back to Hayward, trying to let the boots do the talking. Blocked by Stott, and then no backward steps taken by Wardlow. Ball is there to be won in midfield. Quilligan to Gomez. Langman, first time clearance. Solid header coming through from Otto. And now just an errant touch from Irwin. Hughes seemed a little indecisive about what to do though, taking over possession, and that allows the Mariners to get numbers behind the ball. Dario Vidic got to go, instructing his players to present for the ball. At the moment, there's a few players just hiding along the line rather than presenting between the lines. And that's what Policina is doing brilliantly here, but the pass just can't meet her. It takes a kind deflection. It nearly turned into a chance. Well, we saw that one unfold before our eyes, but Melbourne City will reload and go again. Ekic. And now Chinema. Defender trying to turn winger here, but the cross is immediately blocked away. Ergamal kicks to clear. Roller Badawia is away. This is the chance for the Mariners. The long loping strides of Roller Badawia. Otto gets goal side. Badawia cuts onto the preferred left foot, and it's blocked away once. Ergamal, now Galich, saved by Prue. Big save from the Canadian, keeps the game 0-0. Wardlow, Mariners not done attacking. To the edge of the box it falls. Gomez, now Quilligan. And here's Badawia. A couple of shrieks of delight from the crowd. The home team starting to really make a go of it here. Badawia frees the feet, and the header is bending well wide of the target from Hayward. So much so that Paige Hayward is able to run it down. And then Leah Varley finds the safety of the touchline.
And look, this is really well done by Badawia. She knows that the angle isn't good, so she's able to cut inside there and put herself in a better position to get a shot off. The goalkeeping by Prue, you can see why she goes in with the Canadian national team. She comes out, she's nice and big, she's reactive with the save. Really good goalkeeping.
And Bianca Galich's one and only W League goal was back in March of 2021. playing for Canberra against Brisbane. So that was nearly the first in Mariners colours. She wants to seal the deal here. It's blocked away once more. Bianca Galich getting into goal-scoring positions from midfield. 5 minutes to go at the end of the first half. The Mariners have absorbed so much from Melbourne City. Is it rope-a-dope? Are they about to sting here? Great cross, and Varley is down with a head knock. And that was brave from both Galich and Varley, sticking their heads in to go for that one. Hasn't the intensity of the game stepped up after that one wonderful run from Roller Badawir?
It has a slight shift in momentum right before halftime as well for Mariners is the place that they want to be. If they're creating little half chances when they are breaking out of this deeper block like that, it's going to continue to promote momentum and positivity when they are going forward amongst the group.
So let's take a look at this head clash here between Galich and Varley. It was Ergamal's cross, Leah.
Yeah, it's a good delivery by Ergamal. It's, you know, two players who are extremely brave in Varley and Galich coming together there, and at times it's the life of a defender in and around the box.
I mentioned Leah Varley was from Finley in country New South Wales. She finished high school in Shepparton at Goulburn Valley Grammar alongside another very famous Australian football family, the Quolls. Leah, Alu and Garang were finishing their high school years at the same time as Leah Varley.
Very interesting to know, and great to hear that kids from regional areas are being so successful.
And Galich on the end of this chance, but Badawir, what did you make of the decision ultimately once Otto got goal side to cut in and go for that favoured left?
Look, I think it was an excellent decision. Again, to wrong foot Naomi Chinema there as well. Really good by Badawir, and I think her impact on this match has been fairly productive for the start of this game.
One goal so far this season for Badawir, the Palestinian-American, who was part of Sydney FC's grand final win last campaign. Scored the one goal for them as well. And you see there, the Mariners with 2 shots on target. Melbourne City have the crossbar to show for their efforts, but haven't really tested the gloves of Sarah Langman so far. 2 minutes to go until halftime. Who's the happier of the two coaches?
Oh, I think Husband's going to be the happier. You know, they've sat in a deeper block and they still have the same shot attempts with actually 2 on target compared to City not having any touching the gloves of Langman.
And so now Bryson will drive forward again. Gaps opening here for the Central Coast. Galich in at the near post and just didn't have the bend. Whether that was a shot or it was attempting a low cross, it didn't twist back towards the oncoming attackers. And Liz Prue is able to hold the ball. Galich, who missed all of last summer as she was rehabbing an ACL, was previously at Western Sydney Wanderers before that. It's great to see her back. She made a comeback for Sydney Uni, playing for M. Husband during the winter. It looked like she hadn't really missed a beat, which is always a good sign that your surgery and your rehab has been handled well.
Oh, it definitely is, and we know she's a clever footballer, so when she was going to get back on the pitch, she's going to make good football decisions. She's great in tight areas, and I think her and Isabel Gomez have run the show this year for Mariners in that midfield area.
Varley's head knock has been completely treated. No need for the big bandage, which is good for her. Not the first touch he was hoping for coming back into the action, though. But she's outpointed Badawir on this occasion. Chinema not slowing down at the end of the first half. Trying to keep the tempo high, as is Ekic. Resuming her duel, breezes past Bryson. It's Ekic. Wilkinson back to goal, looking for the tee-up. Policina drives it straight into the shins of Taryn King. Chinema back to Policina. As we tick into stoppage time at the end of the first half, of which there will be 3 minutes. It's been entertaining. Like many Mariners games, it's a slow burn, but if you stick with it, it starts to really reward you.
Yeah, and in terms of the chances the Mariners have created, there've been half chances where Prue has had to make saves.
Can Melbourne City reassert themselves on the contest in stoppage time? No go here. Out off the line comes Sarah Langman. On the bench today for Melbourne City, Julia Grosso, who can play as a winger. Carly Rossbacken, who's primarily a defender. Leah Davidson, a central midfielder. And Tian McKenna. What position would you think, if Dario is deploying Tian, she might be playing in?
Look, we've seen her deployed in multiple roles. For me, I think she's had the most success when she's played in a wider area. She's a good athlete. She's technically excellent. And she just helps keep things tick over for this Melbourne City side when she's on the pitch.
But my point being, they don't have an out-and-out striker on the bench to turn to. So if they are going to find a way through, it might be positional changes or shuffling within the front three or changing who's feeding the service here rather than someone in particular that they can bring off that bench.
Yeah, look, I think you can move Galich in a more central role. You can pair her next to Policina potentially, which I think will create some central chances.
Halfway through 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half. If you're wondering why that is the case, if you'd seen that it was a 7 o'clock kickoff, there was a power outage that pushed kickoff back by just the 30 minutes. It does mean that this game is still kicking off at a very family-friendly hour, 7:30 p.m. local time. Hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you might be watching around the world. I'm sure there are still Celtic fans that remember the days of Taylor Otto, who's on the ball right here, playing the pass to Naomi Chinema. Holding off Hayward. And eventually the ball finds its way out for a Mariners throw. Central Coast bench, Brianna Woodall, the American-born Mexican international. Tiana Karen-Bassis, the Queenslander, who we've seen make a couple of cameos. Peter Trimmis out of the Young Matildas, and Shadeen Evans, the striker who is a previous Young Matilda. And I actually think if Melbourne City had Shadeen Evans on their bench, they'd probably sub her on, because she is a great back-to-goal supporting striker that can bring attacking midfielders and runners from deep into the play. So we'll wait and see which of the Mariners players come off the bench in the second 45. So just seconds to go. Melbourne City, do they have one more attack in them? Mariners seeming very satisfied to stand off here. Varley, one last hurrah then. Really nicely measured pass. McKenna is in behind. The cutback from McKenna. Can't find a teammate, flashing behind for a corner. And if the referee's feeling generous, there will be a corner kick after the 3 minutes of stoppage time have expired. Seventh of the game for Melbourne City.
And that's a really well-weighted pass by Leah Varley into the path of McKenna. In terms of McKenna, just making sure she's picking out a runner in the box in that moment is going to help improve that front third action.
So Amina Erkic has already had a couple of siders. They've dropped it on the post. They've dropped it on the goalkeeper's gloves. Once again, the penalty area is a crowded one. And it misses everyone, hits the grass and rolls through for a goal kick on the opposite side. So danger averted and halftime is reached. The Central Coast Mariners hit both posts and forced a great save out of Liz Prue. While for Melbourne City, Rihanna Policina put the ball into the crossbar, but we are yet to have a goal. Not for a lack of trying. It's been sensational fare so far. Central Coast Mariners 0, Melbourne City 0. And Leah Blaney, let's take a look at some of the highlights this first half treated us to.
Yeah, we saw the chances that the Mariners created. A little bit of confusion between the GK and Otto there causes that for most part.
Both posts, and then Leah Varley cleared it away with both Badawia and also Ergamal lurking in the 6-yard box. Luxa Fortune, and Varley kept a cool head.
This was a great little chance by Melbourne City. Beautiful pass through by McKenna to get on the half turn there, and then it's just the choice of finish for Wilkinson.
We might elaborate on McKenna's role in the second half as she resumes in the second 45. This was the Mariners again, testing the keeper this time after a great run from Roller Badawia.
Yeah, great decision by Badawia to cut in there, and then again, great goalkeeping by the Canadian.
And so Bianca Galich denied what would have been her first goal in more than 2 years, as it was the big outstretched left hand that was able to save the day. Stay with us. We will be back for the second half on the other side of this short break. Scoreless on the coast. Welcome back to live pictures from Central Coast Stadium in Gosford, where at half-time of this Liberty A-League clash, Melbourne City on the road are 0-0 with the Central Coast Mariners. Young Matilda's coach Leah Blaney is here, but Leah Varley was one of the talking points of that first half, Leah, and certainly when we look at the highlights, there was some desperate defending at times, and Varley wearing the number 2 shirt for Melbourne City was key to keeping this game 0-0. Yeah,
there definitely was. She's had some really good moments. You can see the one she's cleared off the goal line there, and there's other opportunities where some of her distribution has been excellent, where she's fighting players between the lines like we just saw.
That was Hannah Wilkinson flashing a shot wide as well. Letitia McKenna feeding the ball through there for the tight angle attempt, and then at the end of the half, Roll Badawia broke half the pitch, and it led to this excellent save from Liz Prue, denying Bianca Galich.
Yeah, it's a brilliant save by the goalkeeper. She makes the angle very small. She gets big. It's good goalkeeping.
And that was Leah Varley on screen there. For those of you wondering, it's spelt like Princess Leia from Star Wars, but pronounced Leah, as opposed to a player who was at Newcastle last season, and in your Young Matildas team in the past, Leah Blaney, who was Leia Puxty. So it's one of those little brain benders that you deal with as you look through. Same spelling, different pronunciation, you just roll with all of it.
Yeah, I think multiple spellings of Leah.
Kick-off to start the second half. Scoreless in Gosford. Who will strike first? You feel as though the first goal of this one is going to be so important. Will Melbourne City return to the top of the league? Will the Central Coast climb back into the top 6 mix? Massive weekend of Liberty A-League coming up. And it's just like the first half, a very pedestrian beginning from Melbourne City.
Yeah, Central Coast are obviously happy to sit in this block. You can see that there's a little bit more space for City Central. They've seemed to push their 2 centre midfielders into more advanced roles, which hopefully will help break that down.
Here's possession won away by Hayward for the Mariners. Wardlow taking up a more advanced position for now. Back to Quilligan. Decision time for the Mariners. Sliding it through the left channel. This is a great ball. Wardlow's in behind the defender. The cutback is on here. Ergamal denied once by Otto. And then in comes Badawia. But it's nicked off her toes. And that was a great chance for the Mariners.
Certainly was, and it's great movement by Ergamal in there in the box. You can see the pass of Quilligan and the well-timed run of Wardlow. She gets her head up, she picks a player out, and Ergamal's just in a good goal-scoring position for a chance.
So Melbourne City remain on notice, and whatever the half-time team talk was about not coughing up attacking opportunities for the Mariners, it has not been heeded just yet. This is Rebecca Stott. And a great run through the right channel. He's going to link up with Galich. Galich, 1-on-1 against King. Now 1-on-2. Has company. Make that 1-on-3. Rolling the ball back to Varley. Now Varley goes for the cross. Over the head of Wilkinson, but not over the head of Irwin. And it's cleared away by Badawia. Ergamal with it all to do. Taylor Otto leans into the header. And that's just a scoop up and under, so Otto gets another chance. But again, can't find a teammate. Through comes Bryson. Gomez. Still Izzy Gomez. And Gomez with the reverse pass, hoping for Ergamal. Oh, and Ergamal has slid in late on Prue. Thankfully, it is not solid contact, and the goalie bounces up without any harm done.
And it's a pleasing start by the Mariners. They're on the front foot. The no-look pass by Isabel Gomez here. It's a non-preferred foot. Really well weighted there. And Ergamal's just got to be a little bit more proactive and a little bit more on that front foot. And I think she gets on the end of that.
So the 2 best chances of the half already in just 3 minutes. Going Central Coast's way. Wilkinson back to goal. Ekic. Now McKenna. Ball's there to be won, and that's what Hayward did with real energy. Sideways to Gomez. Speaking of Izzy Gomez, still waiting for that first A-League women's goal. Previous stops at the Wanderers and also Wellington, so Mariners, her club number 3 by just the age of 21. As we see this pass setting Badawia into space on a tight angle with it all to do. And even though that was a teasing ball into the 6-yard box, the runners just weren't able to make ground.
Yeah, definitely not enough numbers in the box there. The delivery by Badawiya, it's whipped in with good pace. The Central Coast side are lacking those far post runners in that moment.
And so who would be first to blink and make a substitution? Neither team has turned to the bench so far in the game. Neither team has a yellow card either. So clean bill of health, clean bill of discipline at the start of the second half. And for those of you that missed team lineups, no Caitlin Torpey for Melbourne City in Gosford, and no Julia Grosso in the starting 11. She is among the substitutes, the reigning Melbourne City Player of the Year. Here's Galich giving the ball away. And then a push on Ergamal, and Varley, well, didn't disguise it. And I'm just trying to impersonate the flop that she accuses Ergamal of there, but the decision has been made.
Yeah, and we'll see on the replay the quality in Daniela Galich with her feet there. Look, I think it is a foul, maybe a little bit theatrical by Ergamal, but that's the experience of an international footballer in those moments.
I think the contact was enough to send it to ground and just made sure the referee absolutely saw it on the way. Not too much other protesting going on. So Melbourne City set up defensively here. They have got the height advantage over the Mariners. Taryn King, perhaps the most likely aerial target, the number 18. Corner rolled short. Galich. And the Mariners, whatever they were trying to construct there, it didn't quite come off. Counter-attack is on. Pollicina. Stott driving the diagonal over to Chinema. This is where things can get awkward because Ergamal is hunting the ball. And Taylor Otto is able to find Leah Varley. So 5 minutes now that have a very different tone to them, because we know that the Mariners absorbing and countering are an ever-present danger. If anything, the onus is on Melbourne City to try and get something going. Stott driving it up the middle here, and too long for McKenna. That's off one bounce, held onto by Sarah Langman, making her first appearance of the campaign. It's actually one of the first Mariners signings announced as well, Langman, so one of the first in the door, but one of the last to finally get on the pitch for the returning club, as we see that long pass again, just overhit, hoping for the run of McKenna.
It's definitely the right idea by Stott, and good to see that players like McKenna are breaking from midfield and making those forward runs into that space.
Off the back of the head of Pollicina, Quilligan, Gomez surveys all the options and then tried to thread the eye of the needle, intercepted by Chinema. Oh, really physical stuff from Galich, sends Hughes sprawling. And there'll be an apology here. Pretty sure those two would have been teammates at Canterbury United a couple of years ago. And so there's no further acrimony.
Yeah, look, Galich comes in a little bit heavy-handed there with Hughes, but as you can see, she picks her up and both players just get on with it.
Gee, our angle made that look a little bit sneakier than maybe the first look. There was the outstretched forearm, but still no bookings in the game. Play continues, and here goes Gomez, sliding it through. Badawiya, this will sit up for Badawiya's left foot. A chipped finish! Brilliant goal! Roller Badawiya puts the Central Coast Mariners in front against Melbourne City. All-in celebration for the Mariners. They've absorbed, they've countered, and now they've hit the front.
And that's a fantastic work goal by the Central Coast Mariners. They've been patient, they've been disciplined, they're picking their moments to go forward. And again, the quality of Isabel Gomez, the weight of the pass into the path of Badawiya, and it's a one-touch finish with a non-preferred foot there. And you can just see what it means to these Mariners players when they score at home.
Second goal of the season. Talk us through that finish. Was it one touch the moment she ran onto it, or is that a split-second decision you're always weighing up until the last?
It had to be one touch. It's the right decision. It's the right choice of technique. She doesn't open up too early to give away which way she's going to the goalkeeper. It's a really classy finish by Badawiya.
Early in the second half, a big emotional high for the Central Coast. First ever meeting in the Liberty A-League against Melbourne City, and they lead. They got the better of Wellington. They were beaten by Wanderers. So as they continue to tick off all the other expansion teams that entered the competition ever since they went into recess at the end of 2009, they might be about to go back in front of the ledger. And now we get to see what Melbourne City are made of. Away from home against a team that will now be brimming with belief. Is there an instant reply? Galich showed too much of the ball to Gomez. A crazy ricochet. And Langman dives on the ball like it's the last minute of stoppage time. So, tactically, what are the shouts from M. Husband on the bench? As we speculated in the first half, whoever scores first in a Mariners game generally tends to dictate the game state thereafter. So what will the instructions be? Look,
I think Husband's going to want her team to continue with the disciplined performance in executing the game plan that she's came out with. It's been super effective for them. You know, the onus now is on Melbourne City with this response.
Would they have a minute in mind that they start locking down even further, given that, if anything, from about the 15-minute mark of this game on, they have steadily grown into the match with counter-attacking chances of their own?
Yeah, look, I think continue with what's working for you. So I would say that potentially we see some personnel changes later on in the game that might help come out and execute the game plan for the Mariners.
Well, they're down the attacking end once again, so Melbourne City had a quick foray forward. But it's now Central Coast who have a throw-in and an opportunity. No Annabelle Martin out there tonight. Normally it'd be the number 5 out on the wing looking to swing it across. And they've got a corner kick coming up. You see the subs. Julia Grosso sprinting towards the bench there in the background. So maybe Melbourne City changes not too far away. Plenty of time being taken by the goal scorer, Badawia. Here comes Badawia's corner to the near post, and Chinema lunged into the header and is able to clear out to 4 Santas, sitting as stretcher bearers on the sideline. Great to see the Mariners getting into the festive spirit. And so we wait here for Bryson's throw. Hughes went to ground. Quilligan scooped pass. Badawia. And this holding pattern will suit Central Coast just fine. Long throw. Nodded away by Amina Ekic. You see how crowded it is down in the left back corner for Melbourne City, but maybe at last now a throw-in will allow them to break out of their defensive half. In terms of game management and consolidating the lead, it's been 3 excellent minutes for the Central Coast ever since they went in front.
Oh, they've come out at the start of this half and I think controlled most of the momentum, and they've been rewarded for it.
Badawia, home fans chanting, wanting more. Ergamal with Hayward to aim for, and Galich in the box. Numbers start to arrive. Badawia at the near post in an acre of space. And spins, follows up, and it's off the line again. Prue got a touch. Here's the shot blocked away. Gomez denied. And now Wardlow flicking it over the top. Melbourne City's defensive stand not done yet. Chinema finally finds the safety of the touchline, but again, luck's a fortune for Melbourne City that it wasn't 2-0.
Oh, and once again, fantastic goalkeeping by Prue. You can see she makes the double save there, and eventually I think it looks like it's Stott who has to clear that ball off the line. Very close call for Melbourne City.
Saved into the post by Liz Prue, and then Rebecca Stott did the rest. Ekic wins a foul here, and at last, Melbourne City can put a foot on the ball. Here's another look at that foul. Really more Gomez getting out of the way than making solid contact with Amina Ekic. As things stand on the live table, this would put Central Coast up to 10 points and back into 6th spot ahead of the rest of the weekend. They would need a number of favourable results to finish the round in the top 6, but that's why we love this league. You never know what scoreline's around the corner. Good to hear the fans making a bit of noise too for the Central Coast. Of course, it's worth remembering that England's World Cup camp was in Gosford, in Terrigal, in fact, on the Central Coast, making it all the way to the final. So there was always a bit of Women's World Cup fever going on for the coast before their return to the A-League Women's, including the England team donating a six-figure sum worth of gym equipment to the club as a thank you for hosting them over the month.
Yeah, I think it's been great for the club, and, you know, again, the back end of the coast hosting England and then rolling into the inaugural opportunity for have a female coach at the Mariners and those kind of things to kick off this season. I think it's worked in Mariners' favour.
Double sub waiting in the wings. Tian McKenna and Julia Grosso. They'd love for Melbourne City to welcome them with a goal. Here's Amina Rekic. Hangs it high. Quilligan set herself against Varley. It's a scrap at ground level. And Irwin is able to boot it away. And that will prompt the first changes of the night. Who's coming off is perhaps the burning question. So Leah Varley will make way for Tian McKenna, the sister of Letitia. And so that's Varley's night over. And also it's going to be Daniela Galich coming off here for Julia Grosso. So Leah Blaney, talk us through the squad rotation and also perhaps any tactical shifts we might see from Melbourne City as a result of this double sub.
Yeah, look, I think obviously by bringing Grosso on, the intent is to have somebody with a little bit of speed on that front line, as well as Letitia McKenna in her position, and just probably be a little bit more positive in their play for City with the personnel that have come on.
Crossed in by Chinema. Wilkinson, difficult header to turn goalward, but a half chance for Melbourne City. Off the back of scoring a header against Perth last weekend, Wilkinson not able to find goal number 4 of the campaign there. We've got a Mariner down. Paige Hayward a little sore. Now, I wanted to ask about the two sisters. Letitia McKenna, we forget she is only 21, even though she's playing game number 76 tonight, and then Tian McKenna, 19 years old. Are they similar players or are they different players? I mean, you look at the Taranto twins at Western United, who have very complementary, similar games. Are they poles apart, the two sisters, or are they quite similar?
Yeah, look, you know, they're definitely their own people in every right, but in terms of their technical ability, they're both excellent technicians. They've got clever passing ranges. The work ethics on both of them are very strong. Tian probably slightly suited to a wider area where Tish seems to have a lot of success in those central midfield roles where she can pull the strings and pick passes.
We'll see how long the two of them will stay on the park, because Letitia McKenna has often been one of Dario Vidisic's first choices to take out of a game as it goes on. Here go the Mariners again. Galich, a real lung-busting run. Brilliant run. Now Hayward, overlapping runners coming on the left. Here's Wardlow. It's not quite to Wardlow's advantage. Doubles back around, takes on Grosso. Grosso appealing, and the assistant referee over on the near side, Lauren Hargrave, eagle-eyed, saw it beyond the line for a goal kick.
And Galich does very well to step in front of Hughes there. And again, we see Tian McKenna, her defensive attributes where she opts to delay actually helps buy some time for her teammates to recover into more defensive positions around her and provide cover.
Here is Tian McKenna. First time we get to see her on the ball. It's dispossessed initially by Hayward, but goes back and recovers. Now Grosso, the other new sub, the American. Hughes caught in possession, and the Mariners can go. It's 3 on 4 if they're quick enough here. Out to Urgamal. The goal scorer, Badawia, waits in the middle. Urgamal, well, it was neither a cross nor a shot in the end. Just had a bit of a swing and hope, and ultimately it sails harmlessly through the penalty area. And the little wave of apology comes as a result, but Urgamal continues to stretch the field for this Central Coast team.
She does. She's certainly been very busy, and you can see by the reaction of the player, she's going to want more from herself in that moment where she's picking out somebody far post, and just a little bit better quality delivery by the Chinese international.
Chinema. Trying to bring the ball under control here, Naomi Chinema, and it's great play to just get the better of Gomez, but then overhits the pass down towards Policina. It must be said, other than hitting the crossbar in the first half, it's been an uncharacteristically quiet game from Rihanna Policina. She's normally in the thick of things for this Melbourne City team, but they're just struggling to play her into advantageous positions.
Yeah, it certainly has, and we know that whenever Minnie's on the ball, good things happen for
Here's
City.
A chance for Ekic. Ekic just wide. Nearly caught the angle spot on, aiming for that bottom corner, and it's a let-off for the Mariners as Amina Ekic misses the target.
And it's a fantastic pass played through to Ekic by Tian McKenna. She gets a heads up, and she's just looking to beat that goalkeeper at that far post.
And so with that narrow miss, as we approach the 65-minute mark, Melbourne City, 8 attempts, none of them on target. Mariners, by contrast, have had 5. And all importantly, the 1 goal of the game so far. Here's Tian McKenna. She's already made a difference since coming on. Back pass here will hold up on the lush turf. And Prue, decision time. Squeezes it to Otto. Got to be careful. Bianca Galich made it awkward. Here's McKenna. Wilkinson. No one really to leave it with in midfield, so she was trying to fashion a pass. And then just a little overzealous from Ash Irwin, leading to the referee to make a delayed foul call. Otto to Chinema. Ekic, oh, blind nutmeg, that was class. But is it going to advance the team? McKenna has to concede 25 metres back almost to the halfway line. Still, neat little show of skill, albeit not advancing the ball. Ekic gets another chance to go to work against Bryson. From the byline, Ekic. Well, attracted the attention of another marker, and Rolla Badawia, who has picked her moments when to get back and help out the defence expertly tonight, comes in and makes it a 2-on-1 effectively.
Yeah, I think the defensive work rate of Badawia has been extremely pleasing. What probably goes unnoticed is her off-the-ball movements as well with some of her forward runs.
Policina, a chance to stamp herself back on the second half. Hughes, shoulder to shoulder against Galich. Ball is cleared away. No slowing down from Melbourne City. Oh, commentators curse. They've absolutely slowed it down. They're going to bide their time. Stott wants to speed it back up again. Here's Hughes in the pocket. Clever pass. And now the slide rule ball. Ekic! It kept rising. It may not have counted due to running offside. But Melbourne City incisive, but again not able to hit the target.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful passage of play by Melbourne City. It's what we expect from them. It's what Dario Video is going to want more of, where they've got movement off the ball. They're playing little angled passes, finding people in between lines, and from that, it's just about Ekic looking across the line and a little bit more composure as well with the finish.
I think good call by Delphina Shakespeare, the former Delphina Domoski, over on the outer side. As you can see from where the restart's being taken, it was offside against Ekic. Hayward skips the pass on, not to her team's advantage. Grosso. Tian McKenna. Well, just little moments like that that allow Central Coast to slow things down to walking pace. You're going to see these more and more in the final quarter or so of tonight's action.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to look to slow the game down, and for Melbourne City, it's going to be about not getting frustrated. We haven't seen a Melbourne City player really take the game on their shoulders right now, which I'd like to see somebody be commanding and take a bit of leadership here. Here's
McKenna, pass to the advantage of Ekic, skips past Irwin, and will this be the first card? Yes, it is, excuse me. Yellow out of the pocket, and Ash Irwin becomes the first player from either team to be booked for the foul on Amina Ekic.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely a foul. at halfway there. Really, she comes in, she plants her feet quite early Irwin, which it's awarded a foul for.
How important is skill is knowing how to take evasive action and knowing how to fall, especially if you're a player that is a magnet to fouls like Amina Rekic?
Oh, it's extremely important. It's the life of anyone who's a dribbler and who's going to be moving at speed. It's going to happen.
Rekic there was able to roll safely after taking evasive action. That's why she's right back up. Shouts for handball here. Clearance from Irwin, who's been the thick of the action for the last minute. Referee Caitlin Williams didn't take a huge interest, but maybe just gave it an extra second of a look. No VAR, of course, in the Liberty A-League, so play continues. And Rekic bundling over Bryson, but left the ball behind. Otto. Oh, really physical stuff from Galich. Bumping over Policina. All right, let's take a look at this handball shout.
Yeah, we saw a lot of the City players actually protesting it, so it'll be interesting to see. And I think it's clearly a handball. I think they're on the money.
Ergamal. Foul here will get the Mariners out of trouble. So Ergamal getting her feet. Let's have another look at the handball shout again, Leah. So you're convinced?
Yeah, I am. I think in terms of Irwin, it's a little bit unlucky there for her, but it's a definite handball.
So the referee saw it, made the decision, and the game continues into the last 20 minutes with the Mariners leading 1-0. The ball did squeeze across the sideline. Of course, a couple of times last season, Melbourne City games would reach the final 15 or 20 minutes with a scoreline not dissimilar to this one, and then explode to life and end with scores like 3-3 and 4-3. So if they need to throw the kitchen sink at this, you just never know what we might get here before the night is out. The Mariners would love to start by scoring a second of their own. Here's Badawia. Hayward making ground in the middle. Badawia curves the cross in, and it's headed away by Otto.
Yeah, I think it's spot on. Mariners are going to want that second goal. We know the potential. We know the quality on this pitch of this Melbourne side. The potential for them to bag 2 or 3 towards the end of this match is not something that is not realistic. It's just whether they'll be able to execute.
Chinema to Policina. We saw straight after the goal, between about the 55 and 58 minute mark, Melbourne City got stuck down here in this left back corner. They've learnt their lesson and extracted the ball as quickly as can be. Wilkinson, Tian McKenna, Grosso appeared to stay onside. And so play continues at the feet of Grosso. Stops and props, and first thought now is to tail away from the penalty area. Well, it still ends up, well, it's a goal kick, is it? Or a corner? Looks like it's a corner. So Grosso, even though she got trapped in a 1-on-3, is still able to get a set piece out of it. If you're wondering about the corner count, so we take another look here at how Grosso won it. This is number 9 for the game, so almost into double figures now, Melbourne City. Amina Rekic, the Bosnian international. Langman caught out of position. Oh, the header was up from Wilkinson, but went away from the target. Policina. Back to Rekic. Spins onto her preferred left side. Rekic! And it beats Wilkinson at the far post. And the Central Coast Mariners' 1-0 advantage remains intact.
Yeah, it's pleasing to see how defensively sound the Central Coast side are during these these set-piece moments. They're following their runners, they're making first and second contact, and they're doing a good job at defending this central goal zone. And as you can see with the delivery, Bryson's right there with Wilkinson. There's not a free player in the box in that moment.
Mariners have been so disciplined. They have stuck to their task, but they look at the clock. It'll feel like it's moving at half speed here. There's still so much time left in the game for Melbourne City to turn this around. Chinema knocks it out for a throw. You're thinking about a Mariners sub of any of their bench options at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think any time that Peter Trimmis has come on the field for Central Coast Mariners, she's been excellent. She's got good speed. She's going to bring great energy and an extremely high work ethic. Given away by Letitia McKenna, albeit briefly, because support is there in the form of Stott to save the day and win a foul down in the corner. Well, it's been all perspiration with only limited moments, I should say, of inspiration for Melbourne City so far. But the last 15 minutes, this is where so many of their games can spring to life. And right on cue, the first touch that Amanda Ekic would like to have back. Ekic again against Wardlow. And Wardlow able to appeal to the referee that the shirt was grabbed, and indeed that was the call. I can tell you that the Friday night crowd in Gosford is 1,273, so the four-figure crowds continue for the Central Coast Mariners, and nothing is going to get the word out that the Mariners are a great team to watch, like the thrilling goal they scored tonight. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic crowd, and they're delivering on the pitch, which makes people want to come out and watch more games, so hopefully this momentum continues. Of course, you're running out of days to get your Liberty A-League pass as well. It's all over by the end of December. Here's Wilkinson, square ball, oh, tap-in saved. Langman at point-blank range, and that is outstanding to deny Policina, who won't believe that she hasn't brought the game level. Excellent goalkeeping by Langman. We know it's a strength of hers. She's a fantastic shot stopper. The decision by Wilkinson to square this ball is excellent as well. And you see Langman, she comes out, she makes herself big, she's brave, really good goalkeeping. And if Sarah Langman thought that she was biding her time, rehabbing and getting ready to return, well, she'll feel well and truly back now. Still a corner to defend. Goalkeeper out of the equation, tumbling over at the near post. And the corner had too much juice on it regardless. It goes out for a goal kick, even though Langman was out of the equation. Well, Langman is a goalkeeper who, in the past, Leah, I have argued at times makes spectacular saves because she's not always in the best position. That was outstanding positioning to make sure that Policina had to put it one side or the other. Well, it certainly was, and that's a strength of Langman's. She's brave, her positioning is good. They're the moments where you're going to back Langman to make those saves. Flicked on by Bryson. Otto. Let's not forget, shot on target for Melbourne City as well. It's finally arrived. And the noted big finishers are starting to work through the gears. This will suit the Mariners just fine. Melbourne City amble up to the halfway line. Now, decision time. McKenna. Hughes, not quite between the lines just yet. Ekic from wide. And seemingly not on the same page as Stott, but they still get a throw in. And I think a big issue for this City side is players are just a little bit static in this build-up. Here goes Stott, getting closer and closer to the penalty area. Incredible! Melbourne City equalise in style. And Rebecca Stott has done so with a peach of a goal.
It's Stott's first goal since March 2020 in the Liberty A-League, and it's great.
Oh, it's a fantastic finish by Stott. She sees Langman. She's off her line. I touched on who is going to be the leader in this Melbourne City side who takes the game on their shoulders. Give me the ball, I'll score, and it's Rebecca Stott.
Just the second shot on target of the night. In 107 games, it is the 7th goal of Rebecca Stott's A-League women's career.
And the Mariners aren't going to be pleased. They've been so disciplined all game, and to switch off in that moment and give City that opportunity is not going to be something that they're very happy about.
And so now do the Mariners respond, because they know that Melbourne City will be coming for the 3 points. It might leave gaps at the back. The runners are breaking in the middle for Ergamal. Ergamal cuts it near post. Hayward denied by Prue, and then cleared away by Otto. Get ready for a last 10 minutes that's going to feature plenty more chances like this. And Melbourne City able to slow it all down, just relax for a brief moment, but the Mariners so close to going immediately back in front. Picture in picture, Leah.
And you can see Ergamal, she's got her head up, she's scanning. I think an earlier delivery would have suited into the path of Irwin. She ends up outside that front post area, which makes it very difficult if she had have received that to actually get it on target.
Well, you called it for a Mariners change. Looks as though Peter Trimis is standing next to the 4th official, so with 10 minutes to go, the home team will finally make a sub. The ball is going to run on here. Otto has to get back. Hayward willed herself onto the ball. Made it awkward for Otto, who still had the goalkeeper. And then Hayward trying to sell a little bit of off-the-ball contact for all that she could, but the referee takes no interest. Well, 2 super goals, 2 very different goals, but we have been entertained tonight. Stott, who scored the equalizer for Melbourne City. Pass intercepted here, but Wardlow still has to go and win it again. Shouts for handball, go unheeded. I guess if the one in the penalty area did, that one should too. However, it will be controversial if Badawir can score here, because Badawir is through and Taylor Otto is making ground to shut it all down.
Yeah, and that's a good recovery run by Otto, but you can see Badawir, her movement off the ball, her forward run, she's able to get in between defenders. They're playing well-weighted passes into space to her. She's going to be a threat.
Off comes Tess Quilligan, just her 2nd appearance. Both of them coming in the last 2 games. And on comes the young tyro, Peter Trimis, for 10 minutes of sprinting. Here's another look at the chance for Badawir.
Yeah, and it's a great ball through by Wardlow. We spoke about how good she is at doing the simple things.
Melbourne City have had so many corners in this game. There would be a degree of irony if the Mariners can score from one of their own. Just the 3rd of the night. Bryson the taker. Otto and Prue miss it. And then Wilkinson is the firefighter there who cleared it out of the box. Far from convincing, but they got the job done. Second time ball is headed away by Chinema. King out to Trimis. First chance to impact the game for the youngster. Trimis up against Grosso, and the pass is cleared away by Naomi Chinema.
Yeah, and it's a great ball in by Bryce, and you can see the intended target, Galich there, and the City are scrambling to deal with the delivery.
And so instead of City trying to complete the comeback, it's been almost straight back to the Mariners threatening here. That looks like Carly Rossbacken who's going to come on for a late cameo, as this giveaway is almost punishing the Mariners, but Irwin is able to see the safety of the line. Both teams arguing about a deflection, about a foul throw. Play just continues, and the referee eventually sees a free kick going City's way. Is that going to prompt the return of Rossbacken? It's not. Crossfield pass. Grosso. Spinning out to the left. Chinema. Chinema hangs it up over the head of Wilkinson, and it's 2 for Melbourne City, but it won't count. Amina Ekic was offside, and the celebrations are halted.
And that's a shame in terms of being offside. The vision of Naomi Chinema, she gets her head up, she sees the forward run. It's played with her right foot there where she's come inside. It's a fantastic ball by Chinema.
And it was Naomi Chinema's last act of the game. You can see she's not happy with that offside call. And Carly Rossback, second appearance of the season, still making her way back from that long-term foot injury that has curtailed so much of her career in the last 2.5 years. Immediately into the action, winning the header. Bryson. Otto to Grosso. Confirmation of the sub. Chinema off, Ross back and on. King, deflected clearance, might set up kindly here for Trimis. Took a touch, but then showed too much of the ball to Stott. Here goes Tian McKenna. Trimis trying to backtrack, making it difficult for McKenna, who did well to protect the ball. Now Hughes and Letitia McKenna. Through the right it goes from Stott. Ekic is away and then runs straight into the tackle of Paige Hayward, and Hayward has won the foul for her trouble. And that'll take us into the last 5 minutes of regulation.
Yeah, and you can see there, it's definitely a foul. Ekic is just unable to slow down with her momentum there, nothing malicious.
Galich went in at the feet of Hughes. Ball won cleanly with the referee right on the scene. Ergamal, just a short ball. I don't know if Galich knew if that was intended for her. And Ross back, and he's able to pick it off and send it wide to Grosso. Stott feigned a long ball, now uncorks one, trying to link up with fellow New Zealand international Wilkinson, and it's fielded effectively by Langman right out at the edge of the box. Badawia. Gomez, passing avenue blocked. Wilkinson coming out back to goal. Bit of rough and tumble, but no whistle from the referee. Trimis just decelerates and defers sideways. Galich thinking about a long shot, feeds it through to Badawia. Badawia curving it for Ergamal over the bar amid cries for offside from the Melbourne City defence.
And it's a nice little passage of play by the Mariners. You can see the success they're getting in those wider areas, and when they're picking out their players. If Ergamal just times her run a little bit better, so she actually finishes in a little bit more of a central position. She's outside that near post. I think she's better suited to get something on target.
Still real tension in this game at the end of the night. Melbourne City trying to win. Central Coast looking to intercept, counter, and take home 3 points of their own. Hughes switching directions out to the left. Rossbacken has got Policina making a run and eventually plays the pass, but I'm not sure Policina knew whether or not that pass was ever going to be sent out to the flank. It looks like Shadeen Evans and Tiana Karambassis. We're going to see more late subs from the Mariners change this game here. No Annalise Rasmussen tonight. She's been the match-winning hero previously this season. Grosso unable to find a way past Gomez. Here's Rossbacken. Hughes goes to ground. Pass found Grosso, though. Gomez has got to go. Went to ground. Grosso kept the ball. Policina not able to make ground in time. Irwin a deflected clearance. It's still there to be won. Letitia McKenna back to Tian McKenna. And then not on the same wavelength as Hughes. And that Is it going to find its way out? Eventually it does. The Mariners have a player down. And inside the last 2 minutes of regulation, everyone can take a breather and look ahead to stoppage time. Trainer is being called out for the first time in this second half to tend to Izzy Gomez here. So both teams can use this almost as a strategic timeout, Leah, as we take another look at how Gomez picked up this knock, going to ground and not able to take the ball off Grosso. Bergamal comes off. Brianna Woodall, the Mexican international, comes on. And it looks as though the Mariners goal scorer, Rola Badawia, is coming off. And Shadeen Evans is also coming on.
Yeah, and the addition of Shadeen Evans in particular, you know what you're going to get there. Her work ethic, her ability to make forward runs, the bravery of this young player. So I think it's a positive substitution for Central Coast, where just a little bit fresher legs out there up front to cause a bit of havoc for the Mariners.
Well, they've got 3 attackers on out there now. Trimis talking to Evans there and also Woodall. How many minutes of stoppage time will they get to try and grab the win? The first ever Liberty A-League meeting between these two teams. Gomez has had a sip of the pickle juice, and the Mariners are determined not to have her leave the game, so she's been attended to by the trainer. A thumbs up tells the story. And the fourth official, Bella Mawson, shows 6 additional minutes for one of these two teams to win the game. It's a game that deserves a winner, but I am at a loss as to who might think they deserve it more. The touch Woodall was hoping to introduce herself to the game with. Confirmation of those subs going through can tell you that the Mariners now sitting deep as they have done all game, trying to absorb another attack from City. Tian McKenna. Stott. Well, Evans introduces herself with the striker's challenge. No time spent arguing the toss. Free kick given and taken immediately. Stott. A little chip wedge that had a bit too much on it and held on to by Langman. So just a reminder that a draw would put Melbourne City up to 17 points. Perth, who play Sydney on Sunday night, are on 16, would be the only team that could leapfrog them back to the top of the league if this game ends in a draw, whereas for the Mariners, they would improve to 8 points in 7th place. Very much in the cluster of teams that are all battling for spots in the top 6. 22-game season, and for many teams, this weekend will mark game 8 of the campaign. So not even at halfway yet, so much action still to unfold. Otto. Stott has 1 goal from distance already, but that is perhaps a little too far out. To the flank it goes. Ross Backen looking to make an impact here. Ross Backen, a teasing cross over the head of Wilkinson. Ekic on the chest, hooks it back. A tumbling clearance. Trimis has got to go. And now McKenna is able to win possession back for Melbourne City. Mariners remain trapped at the top of their penalty area. Ekic with a stumble, and the cutback picked out Gomez. And now Trimis is able to win a throw.
That's some good play by Ekic there, where she's on the ball, she's looking to come inside and dribble, and she's a key player for this Melbourne City side who can potentially score in the dying minutes of this game.
And those dying minutes have just 3 to go. McKenna's pass. Here's Stott, 1 goal already. Not able to get through the gauntlet this time. Evans won the ball away. Only as far as Otto. Ross Backen. McKenna's touch not quite there, but Letitia McKenna runs onto the pass from Ekic. Still Letitia McKenna. City just cycling the ball around. The Mariners sitting so deep at the moment. Now a couple charge out to try to win possession back. Evans, the touch found Taryn King, and the skipper just goes for distance and boots it away. This would be a very hard-earned point for the Mariners if they hold on, and that appears to be what they're trying to do, but a pass like that now gives them the chance to get some ideas about trying to nick it for themselves. M. Husband still full of instructions as we tick into the last 2 minutes. It's been a thrilling game, Leah. Who's your player of the match if you had to choose one?
Look, I think Butterweir was excellent on and off the ball. Her work rate was enormous. She's a goal scorer.
Mariners might still have a chance here. Gallage with Hayward breaking into space, and the pass eventually is squeezed to the edge of the box and fielded effectively by Tian McKenna. Gallage just couldn't get the step right, but still half a chance. Gomez wills herself onto the ball. Mariners have still got some numbers committed forward here. Bryson, Evans back to goal. Nicely done. Gomez, I'll telegraph the pass, and that's a big 50-50 won by Tian McKenna, albeit with Hayward back sweeping through to take possession. 60 seconds to go. Will we see a winner? Trimis cuts it back in. Hayward, there's a few flat-footed players out there at the moment. And now Letitia McKenna shows a lot of the ball to Woodall, but it squeezes out to the flank. Rossbacken. Down the line, Rossbacken goes. Grosso. And Bryson for company. Still a throw in for Melbourne City. Still 30 seconds to try and snare all 3 points. Shallow clearance, only as far as Hughes. McKenna. Otto. Stott drops the shoulder. Stott's done it once already tonight. Decides to go out to Ekic here. Ekic for the big finish. Wilkinson rises, and it slides off the head. Woodall trying to avoid conceding a corner as stoppage time expires. And the referee says enough's enough at the end of a memorable first meeting in the Liberty A-League between the Central Coast Mariners and Melbourne City. Neither team able to win it, but not for a lack of trying. Rebecca Stott scored for the first time since March 2020 to grab the equalizer after Roller Badawia's second of the season put the Mariners in front. Superb entertainment in the Liberty A-League, and it finishes. Central Coast Mariners 1, Melbourne City 1. Leah Blaney, let's get into the highlights from what was a really good contest.
Yeah, and a really exciting second half. You see the quality of Isabel Gomez there, and Butterweir touched on that it's a clinical finish. Really, really classy to finish that one touch in the back of the goal.
And so that was the Mariners in front in the 52nd minute. And they did have some chances to both take a 2-0 lead and also go back in front 2-1. But ultimately, that was the one time they were able to find the back of the net. Look at the celebration. This is a very united team. Melbourne City, the equaliser, though. Rebecca Stott getting forward and getting it done.
She sees Lingman off her line there. It's a non-preferred foot, and again, just a lapse of concentration on a defensive throw-in that, on reflection, I don't think Central Coast are going to be pleased about. They were so disciplined all game.
A 7th A-League women's goal for Rebecca Stott in game number 107. Don't forget, Unite Round is coming. You can see every team in the Liberty A-League and the Isuzu Ute A-League men's 12th to the 24th of January in Sydney. Get your tickets now at Ticket Tech. Leichhardt Oval is going to be buzzing with matches in the Liberty A-League all through the weekend. All roads lead to Sydney. All right, on behalf of Leah Blaney, my name's Teo Pellizzeri. Thanks for your company on this one. And we leave you with scenes of the Mariners 1, City 1. Good night.